Welcome to Talk Fair on Air, a LinkedIn live event hosted by BureauWorks, the show where AI and innovative unconventional thinkers take center stage. I'm your host, Viveta Jean, AI language solution specialist, and today we have with us a professional who is really engaged and immersed in creative translation. Are you ready for a fundamental truth? While AI may enhance efficiency, it's the human touch that's indispensable for crafting authentic, culturally resonant translations. And let's talk fair on air. So today we have a very special guest with us, Tess Whitty. Tess is an English to Swedish translator, localizer, and transcreator with over 20 years of experience. She's also the owner of Swedish Translation Services and a content creator focusing on SaaS companies and consumer marketing. Tess, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Viveta.
Thank you. So, Tess, you've been at the forefront of the translation industry for quite some time now. And with the rise of AI technology, the landscape is evolving rapidly. Can you share with our audience how AI is currently influencing the field of translation, particularly in terms of creativity?
Sure. First, I want to say that I'm definitely not an expert. I don't think any of us know enough about AI at the moment, but ever since it entered the market, first with machine translation and then with ChatGPT last year, I've been trying to learn as much as possible about it. And yes, I have sort of merged from being a localizer to learning about SEO. I have a marketing background. I've studied copywriting, so I've sort of gone into the creative field of translation because I enjoy it so much. And I also think that no machine can replace a human when it comes to creativity. At least not yet. So what I think AI, well, it's very, very new, but it's very, very impressive and smart. And I think it will play, and it already play an important role in the translation and localization industry. But human creativity is still essential to ensure that our content is accurate, culturally relevant, and emotionally correct or resonant. So I think, this is how I feel at the moment, that AI is going to be a very important tool for all of us, not just in the translation industry, but for everybody. And we need to learn to use it. We need to learn so much about it. We need to sort of create rules and learn about confidentiality and ethics. But above all, we all need to learn as much as possible about it. Did that answer your question?
Yes, and I would like to add to this. Do you feel that it is a good influence? I mean, for example, if we go to ChatGPT and we ask for the creation of text, and you are a transcreator, so you go and ask ChatGPT to transcreate your text in the language, then is this something satisfactory for you to start working on this, let's say, conceptual network, artificial conceptual network, I would say, and start working on it? Or would you like to start from scratch? How do you feel about it? Your personal opinion.
Yes. So first of all, I never go and paste the text into ChatGPT and ask it to transcreate it. How I use it these days for any transcreation is, for example, I give it a prompt to say, here is an English expression. Please give me 5 or 10 different ways of rephrasing this or writing this in Swedish. And sometimes it's just gibberish. Sometimes it can give me some ideas on what to spark my creativity to rewrite something in a different way or in a new way. So that's basically how I use it for transcreation. Or when I want to find synonyms, or when I do research on a topic to learn more about it, or when I want to, I ask ChatGPT to sort of poll the audience or poll the internet about what they feel about certain things in general. So I just use it sort of as a tool to play with ideas, give me more information, not to transcreate directly.
Okay, that's a fascinating insight, because it seems that you see AI tools complementing and not replacing human creativity in the translation process. So you mentioned about the alternative suggestions that you can ask an open AI system, or synonyms, and this is very important to know, because we have many transcreators, many translators being against AI tools and not believing in these. So this is what I believe as a translator myself, that we should do, to use them as a tools. And in BWX, there is this feature of alternative suggestion. So it's good to know that this is something that has been created for a reason. Thank you very much, Tess. So with your expertise in both translation and SEO, because you have expertise in SEO, how do you leverage AI tools to optimize content for both linguistic and search engine requirements?
Good question. So I want to go back on what you said, that many people don't like it and see it as a threat. I see it as just any other technical development going all the way back to the Industrial Revolution that has come and evolved. And there's always been a threat that we humans will be replaced by something. And yes, it's true that machines have replaced a lot of manual labor that was done before, but we just need to learn and evolve with it and use it to our advantage as much as possible. So when it comes to SEO, when I optimize for SEO, I like they have integrated AI into the SEO tools that are available today too. But what it can help with when it comes to SEO is to give you ideas on keywords, pull keywords out of a website and give you a list. And then you check it, of course, and see if it's accurate. You can analyze the content. It can give you analytics and results, and it can provide suggestions for improving content structure, keyword density, meta tags, help find negative keywords, and other on-page SEO elements. It can give us help us with that. I still think that we need a human to check all that and check all the keywords and implement them and so forth.
And because SEO is a very special chapter in our translation industry, when we try to adapt translations using the keywords, and there are so many parameters, do you believe that AI is helpful, or does this become even more tiring? So, for example, I used AI for SEO writing, and the keywords it suggests and everything. But sometimes I find it is really confusing. How do you see it?
Well, I think it depends a lot on the prompts and how good we are at instructing ChatGPT to help us, because we have to be very precise. We have to give it really detailed information and instructions for it to actually be helpful and not produce gibberish. That said, it can be confusing also because you cannot trust AI to be accurate. Sometimes they call it hallucinates and just throws out something that's just not true. And you always have to check all the sources and check that everything is correct. While ChatGPT can be a very useful tool, it's also not to be trusted yet.
Okay, so by saying that and having exchanged our opinions, and it seems that we agree that there is a sort of debate, I would say, about AI in translation, especially for the creative text, and we feel these vibes every day. How do you envision the future of translation in this AI driven landscape?
I'm quite optimistic. Now, there is the notion that AI will replace us, but I also think that the amount of text that now needs to be translated is just increasing exponentially too, and AI can definitely help with that. But I think that humans are still needed. Our human brains, our human creativity, our collaboration between each other are still needed, and we won't be replaced yet. If we learn the tools, if we stay on top of things, and if we hone our creativity and know what parts we are needed for.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to
Do you see positively a collaboration between translators and engines, translators and AI tools? Meaning that, is it a good thing if an engine learns your style and you teach an engine your style? Is this kind of collaboration something that facilitates our work? Or do we see it something like replacing our work?
I would say facilitates.
That's nice. That's a good point. Okay, and can you share some examples or case studies where AI or maybe non AI tools have significantly enhanced or transformed the creative output of translators?
Mm. Uh, I think it can really enhance by finding reference material. It speeds up our research a lot if we learn how to give it good prompts. It can create glossaries in an instant, something that we can work hours on. It can create a glossary very fast. Of course, we have to always check it. And especially for creative translations, it can help with giving like information or tips on changing the tone of voice. If I need to change the tone of voice for a particular customer, like say that the tone of voice is very professional, but it needs to be more playful, it can give me ideas on how to do that. Not do it for me, but it can give me ideas.
Mm-hmm. And this is again what you said, one of the features that exist in BWX, and I suppose that they may exist in other tools. Just an example, because I know the tool, and about the creation of glossaries, and about the alternative suggestion, and about learning style. So deep learning does miracles here, and as you said, it is facilitating. So it's inspiring to see how technology is empowering translators to deliver even better results. And finally, Tess, how do you think that we can balance the use of AI tools with traditional translation methods to ensure high quality and culturally relevant content?
How we can balance it?
Mm.
Well, we can use AI as a tool, just like we did with the cat tools when they came, in particular for productivity when it comes to research, but then always to use our own expertise and skills to transcreate, review, and edit. And step away from it, especially when it comes to creativity. It's very, very important to sort of step away from it, from AI, to get the creative side of it.
That's a very interesting point. And now I will touch on the ethical part of the story, because this is what this is controversial. And in general, whatever we touch on today is this controversial, because you are not probably allowed to talk about creativity and AI, and we did it. So as AI becomes more integrated into translation processes, what ethical considerations do you think translators should be mindful of?
Well, first of all, it depends on what tool you're using, but a lot of the content that we are working with is confidential, and we cannot just share it to ChatGPT or anything like that. Without breaking confidentiality agreements. So we have to anonymize it and make sure that we don't have the history turned on, etc. We have to be very, very careful of that. So there are many ethical considerations. We have to, first of all, be mindful of the intellectual property, and the confidentiality and privacy of any text. Other things is, of course, we always have to check the accuracy and reliability. Like I said, AI or ChatGPT can hallucinate. We have to be very mindful and check the cultural sensitivity. That might not always be correct. We have to check for bias and fairness. The algorithms can work in a way that there's actually cultural bias, or it's not. You know how these days we have to make sure that it's. I'm blanking on these words, but
Yeah, and so there are
quality.
Yes.
And inclusion, and anyway, those things. And what else? That it's not biased and that it's fair.
It is actually the external part and the internal part, the micro and the macro, meaning we talk about ethical, the micro ethical when it comes, let's say, from inside the text and the generation of the text. And it is the macro thing when it is about where do you work with this text. So one thing is if you work with OpenAI and all the limitations that this has, and if your tool where you work with ChatGPT has a certificate of security and the data do not leak around, and this kind of stuff. And the other one is what you said, Tessie, and it was very interesting about the bias, about the inclusion, about all these things that actually come from the nature of ChatGPT. And now I'm going to open a dialogue with Michael and us, who in the audience, who said, regarding glossary creation, at what stage does AI shortcomings in understanding partial synonymy across intralingual locales, US, UK, SA, AU, English, or the ETCH, like you German, outweigh its use?
I think ChatGPT or AI can be very, if you instruct it to make it UK English, like go from US English to UK English, it's pretty good at doing that already. If you give it the correct instruction. I'm not quite sure that answers the question, but yes, it's very helpful. It can be a helpful tool to do just that. For example, for me, we have the Swedish spoken in Finland and the Swedish spoken in Sweden. And ChatGPT could be a productivity tool for me to find which words are different in these two variations.
Okay, so Michael, here you have your answer. And if there is anything else that you would like to discuss with us or anyone in the audience, please feel free. And now let's go to personal stories. Tess, can you share a memorable experience where your translation work made a significant impact on individuals or communities? And how does this personal connection drive your approach to translation?
Thanks. I just wanted to add one more thing about the ethical. I also think it's very important that we are transparent on how we use, if we use AI and how we use it to our clients. I wanted to add that. But now to your question. So I don't work with legal translation or humanitarian companies, so I don't have that direct feel-good effect from that. Most of the time I can just see that I have increased the rankings, SEO, or the click-through rates or something by 30% or something like that when I've worked on a website. Those kind of stats I can get. So for me, sort of the personal connection is usually with a localization manager or a marketing manager. So we're still talking numbers. But if sort of the most fun project I've had where I really had a personal connection has nothing to do with marketing or SEO or anything. The father of the bride found me my website and asked me to translate a wedding speech. He wanted to speak directly to the groom's family in Swedish. So I translated the wedding speech and I recorded it so he could learn the intonation. And he reached out to me after the wedding and said that it was much appreciated and that they could understand him and so forth. So that was, the personal connection and the fun part of it.
So you just gave your words and your feelings and your language to a very special event. I think that you touched many hearts there. That's amazing. Yeah, the power of language in this case is so moving. I'm very happy you shared this with us. And now let's go the other way around and let's talk fair. And we have all had a fail, and this is how we learn. So can you share with us some fail you had or something that was really difficult for you?
Yes, and I think I've shared this before. My sort of biggest aha moment was really, really early on in my translation career when, as an eager new translator, I wanted to take on just about anything. And I said yes to translating a manual for a blowtorch in welding. When you weld metal together.
Yeah.
And I had no experience in it. I did a lot of research. It took a lot of time, but still, of course, since I wasn't familiar with the area, I wasn't doing a very good job. I had a very understanding editor, or a proofreader that instructed me on this, and so that was the first time I'm like, okay, I really need to just work with text that I know, and I really need to specialize, and this has been going on ever since, of course, narrowing down and specializing in things that I know I'm good at, learn more about those things, and continue to narrow down. That is one mistake. I also know that I one time said yes to translating a catalog database, and this is like one word and then one word, but it was huge. And I remember, so when you say that, okay, when you get the information, it's this many words, then you know sort of how long this will take. But when these words are extracted individually and are different things, it takes much, much longer. So I remember I was sitting day and night and weekends with this job, and I completely regretted it, but I did it, and that was it. So
I can feel you. So, what are your, let's say, 3 tips to translators regarding, let's say, creative translation or challenges or AI? What would be your 3 tips from your
oh,
experience?
mm, for creativity, specialize in a certain field if you can, and learn as much as you can about copywriting, and write a lot yourself. Um, yeah, that would be for that. When it comes to chat GPT and cat tools, learn as much as you can about it. Learn to use it correctly. Stay on top of it. So
This is a very good tip. As I say, this is our weapons. Our education is our, let's say, is our arm to be able to support ourselves, to become better, and it is ethics. So thank you very much for your tips, and let's go and play now the fast five. So I'm having five fast questions answers for you. You have to reply in 10 seconds. And if you don't, I go to the next question. So don't take me for a route.
okay,
And are you ready for it?
maybe.
We're never ready. We were just born to be ready. Okay.
Yeah,
So what's the furthest thing you have experienced with AI?
the funnest.
What's the weirdest thing you've experienced with AI?
Weirdest. Oh, I've asked it to create images, and the images can sometimes turn out really, really ridiculously funny. So images.
Okay. I could not hear you because it is a live event and it was not that fast for me because I was, frozen.
Okay.
But okay, the audience probably had the answer.
Okay.
So what's one tool or tip you can share that makes you most productive?
Well, these days I would say like the traditional ones are cat tools and dictionaries, but ChatGPT.
What's the biggest myth people believe when it comes to translation and technology?
That technology can replace us.
What's your favorite word in your native language?
It's lagom, which means not too much and not too little. It's sort of like the Goldilocks fairy tale, the perfect in between. Lagom.
Using one word, how would you describe AI?
Oh, assistant.
Ah, I love this. I love this question. You always bring me a different answer. Assistant. This is so simple and so meaningful. Thank you very much, Tess. Thank you very much for this. So, this is it for today. Thank you, Tess, for making our Talk Fair on Air podcast a learn and fun experience. Talk Fair on Air is an event hosted by BureauWorks. BureauWorks is a cloud based translation management system integrating innovative AI translation technology and the winner of the Process Innovation Challenge at Local 50. If you want to experience pure AI innovation in translation technology, sign up for a free trial using the link we share with you, coming with a special offer 30% for the first 3 months, or book a demo to navigate AI in translation. So that's it. Let's wrap it up for today's episode of Talk Fair on Air. Tess, your insights into the evolving translation landscape have been incredibly enlightening. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us today. And stay tuned for more exciting conversations. And remember, Talk Fair on Air. Thank you, Tessie.
Can I add a resource for other translators? I have learned a lot about how to use AI and ChatGPT for us to improve our productivity through Tech for Words with Nora Diaz. She was the one who taught me. But yes, so I just wanted to share that as a resource for anyone who wants to learn more about it.
And I don't know if you have access to our chat, and you can write if you want the resource that you would like to share. But I think it is Tech for Word, you said. I think it is this one. I can write it. And it is Nora Diaz. So people can look for it. I know Nora myself, and they do an excellent job there. So thank you very much, Tess, and see you all next week, probably.
Thank you, Videta.